Welcome to another episode of From the Lot, where we review and react to movies right in the movie theater parking lot. You can see from our 360-degree angle, perhaps, that we're near the Grand Ole Opry, the Opry Mills Regal Theater. Where's that popcorn?
We all up in this lot, yo.
Yeah, we went
the
here.
Popcorn.
It's real. There's nothing fake. There's no green screen here.
No. We are in the moment.
We just saw
entertainment to fine people.
That's what we do. People need to be entertained, and we
Yeah.
answer the call of duty when it comes.
And as a bonus, you get to see people stop at invisible stop signs, just for a little pizzazz.
Yeah, just because it's national drivers.
Yeah.
Where's the Coast Smokes? I want to show this podcast is indeed, by the way, sponsored by Coast Smokes.
Menthol.
Well, she loves the menthol, so
Put
that's
it
why
in
she's
your mouth.
smoking the menthol. I'm going to be smoking some of these here. Grape soda. Yummy, yummy. They are really good. So, smoke them. Don't eat them. I mean, you can eat them, but nothing's going to happen. They're FDA approved. I have no idea if that's true. Anyway, we just saw Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthamos.
You do, and you'll clean it up.
Yorgos Lanthamos being a Greek weirdo.
Yeah, I think weirdo would probably be an apt term, descriptor for him.
He's got like elements of David Lynch and Lars von Trier. There's a lot of Lars von Trier in there too, and like with all like the surreal imagery and the transitions, he's got elements of even a little bit of Tim Burton in this one, in that he's trying to do something fucked up, but like that won't scare girls away.
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I was laughing the whole time.
Jasmine, give us your take. You're the most excited here.
I've never seen a Yorgos Lanthamos.
Also, tell us who the hell you are.
Hey, I'm Jasmine, but you know me. And if you don't,
she's a successful casting agent in Hollywood.
Baby, but who you is though?
And a
who
lead
am
singer.
I? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know.
Lead singer of SHEDONIST.
Yeah.
SHEDONIST.
SHEDONIST, yeah. She guest hosted while you were gone. That's right, yeah.
I sure did.
Anyway,
but
sorry.
No, I really enjoyed that, start to finish. It was great. I've never seen a Yorgos Lanthamos film before, but everything was awesome. It was beautiful to watch. The script was hilarious. Great acting, great costumes. I loved the themes. I loved the things that it was trying to say about women, about men, about society and philosophy, and the ending was great. Gotta have a good ending.
So many things these days, man, they just don't finish the fucking job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many movies where you go to, you're first 2/3 of it, they're great, and then the third act comes and you're just like, what the fuck was that, man?
There was a period where I was expecting that level of disappointment where when they were in Lisbon, I'm like, man, are we already getting to the end already?
No, it kept going.
No, there was a whole hour and a half to go at that point. I was I literally checked my watch because I was like, there's no way we're getting towards the end. But I could have seen where it could have gone in a lesser filmmaker's hands. So I checked my watch, not because I was bored. That's the only reason I preface.
Right.
Just to see where we are. Yeah, to empirically judge it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, it is 3:20 and this movie started at 2:40. So we're only 40 minutes in of a almost 2.5 hour movie.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is gonna go all over the place. And it never, at this point, it had shifted from black and white to color. I honestly,
after she got laid.
Yes, once her sexual awakening comes.
Dude, it was very, very well played on that.
And I liked that her, in the initial scene, there's no spoiler here, although if you're watching this and expecting no spoiler.
At this point, if you are a consistent viewer, you should know that you're getting spoilers in this podcast.
Get spoiled.
We spoil our audience.
We spoil them.
Yeah.
But the first shot is her in a blue dress jumping into the river or lake or whatever, and killing herself, right? And in that one, she is a sexually mature adult. She's had sex. She's married. She's pregnant, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that it would be in color. I thought that was a nice touch, that childhood is black and white, because that's sort of an inversion of the typical pining for childhood sort of motif that you normally see where it's just like, oh, it wasn't childhood so great when we were innocent and everything was better. And in this case, it's not really better or worse, but it is.
Say she was innocent. She was shoving apples up her vagina.
Well, that was the beginning of it.
Yeah, it was the beginning of her sexual awakening.
How did you feel about that?
Oh, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah?
I mean, I could probably not fit an apple up there.
and I knew the whole time I'm watching the scene, I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Is she like trying to fucking put the apple up? I was like, oh yeah, she is.
Like an apple of all things.
And then once you realize like, oh yeah, she is like masturbating with this fucking apple, it's like, oh, she's just gonna want to fuck everyone and everything now.
Because
like,
she has the child brain.
Obviously.
Well, yeah, and just like, I mean, I think once everyone's sexual awakening, once you realize how those things down there work, it's kind of like, I mean, it's like an 11-year-old boy. I was just like, oh, word. This thing doesn't.
I like that.
All day.
It didn't shy away from that.
What else
goes for it? And I know how to feel good at any time now.
Yeah, so
it's so hilarious.
Is it a universal? Is it a universal fact of womanhood that at some point women stick fruit or vegetables inside themselves? Is that a universal experience for women?
I've never done that, so my answer would be no.
I was just wondering.
There was a girl in our high school when I was a freshman in high school. I remember she was a junior in high school, and the rumor that the school was that this girl had got caught with a cucumber.
The cucumber.
Yeah, caught by her folks.
It happens.
Oh,
now whether that's true or not, who knows? But
women, we don't show it often. I mean, I think society tells us we can't be open about our sexuality and stuff like that. We're supposed to keep it a secret. Maybe it's for men's egos or whatever. But I like that this film didn't shy away from that.
Ladies, if you want to shove vegetables up your vagina,
fucking go for it.
We support you. We're
you
feminists.
That you can shove vegetables
or buy a
up your
dildo.
Or
There's
fruits.
nothing
You
wrong
don't have
with
to
that.
discriminate against
Or
fruits.
up your ass.
Or
you don't even have to
absolutely.
discriminate on the hole.
The back door's always open too,
Yeah.
Not always.
I really liked the
No.
I really liked the thematic element of Mark Ruffalo is this, as he calls him, I think a cad, right? And
man whore.
He's a douchebag who's all he uses women sexually and disposes of them, and even admits this, like,
right.
Yeah.
And
but he's so offended.
well, no, but at first he's like, all these people are so offended by you, like, wanting to be free. All these people are so offended by you shoving fruit up your hoo-ha. This is wrong.
But
you got to liberate
society.
yourself. Yeah, liberate yourself,
exactly.
women.
Yeah.
And
then she does.
And then when she does, he can't handle it, and he wants to control her and trap her in the same manner that Willem Dafoe does, that her original husband does. And so I thought that was a funny little twist and comment on sort of the way men are not exactly always honest, even with themselves, perhaps.
Right.
In that, like, oh, really what I just wanted was some pussy.
Right.
Right? But once I got it, and all of a sudden it doesn't, it's not as taken with me, as long as it's not enchanted by, like, how awesome I am.
It's not something that I can't have.
Right. All of a sudden, well, for him, though, it was that all of a sudden she was, like, fucking other people. Like, she, and because she doesn't understand social mores, she's
a child.
She's a child. She has a, for those who haven't seen the film, who don't care about spoilers, she's she kills herself.
Well, she's
Willem
pregnant.
Dafoe, who's this horrible Frankenstein, Victorian era surgeon, who's got scars all over his face and
looks
shit.
Sick. Was awesome.
He looks amazing. Yeah,
it was so cool looking.
He fishes her out of the water, cuts the dead baby out of her, puts the brain of the baby inside of her, and then reanimates her. So she's got a child's brain in a woman's body, and she can barely speak English at the very beginning. She's pissing all over the floor. And
She's,
like,
quote, a beautiful retard.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great line. What a beautiful retard.
Yeah.
And it is a grotesque and intentionally, I don't know if shocking is the word, but it's an intentionally
unsettling.
It's very strange, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's explicit. It's actively, I don't even, because I wasn't unsettled by it. Maybe I've just seen too much bullshit, but it's unflinchingly forcing you to look at things that you would not normally prefer to look at.
But
right? There's a lot of dicks in it. There's a lot of vaginas in it.
Yeah, but they didn't like shove it down your throat. They like presented it in a way that was very like, okay, we're here now. Like, all right, this is what we're doing.
The delivery throughout the movie, and this goes to like the theme you were just talking about, Josh, with sort of like men and the attempt to control or how they deal or sort of are in denial, whatever it may be. Like the woman's journey of self-discovery, you know what I mean? And independence. All of these things, which like, you know, there's a lot of movies where those themes run through them and they just seem, maybe not played out, maybe that's
like
not the right word, but they just seem like a trope. You know, it's just sort of like, okay, yeah, we get it. I think the delivery of this film, it was very clever. It was witty. And it was
also matter of fact.
And like, yeah. And
but also funny.
Like the scientists in it, right? Like they're unemotional and they just coldly look at things that most people wouldn't look at. It kind of forces you into that perspective.
Yeah.
By like, just like, okay, well, here's your, empirical look at dicks and child women stabbing people's eyes out. And
women's horniness.
Yeah, it's not like, it doesn't have that fucking like slay queen sort of attitude that like comes where it's just like, yo, this is basic as fuck. You know what I mean?
Such easy statements to make.
Yeah, like no, it was pretty fucking brilliant. I thought, like, I mean, I'll save what I said to Josh, I guess, for a little later in the episode, but like, I really fucking like that movie.
Yeah, and
I mean.
And neither of you have seen. I'm surprised you haven't seen a Yorgos Lanthamos movie before.
And I'm definitely gonna go watch The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer now.
And there's another one, I think. I'm trying to remember what he made after Killing of a Sacred Deer. Can you look it up? I swear he has another movie after Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I'll do it.
But I like Yorgos Lanthamos. You know who actually kind of turned me on to him? I had seen Dogtooth, because Dogtooth, which is his Greek movie that kind of made him, which is a fucked up movie with like, it's actually a very similar movie in that they're like these children.
The Favorite.
Favorite. I haven't seen that one yet.
And Nimic.
Nimic
also sounds very familiar.
Nimic?
Uh-huh.
I've never even heard of that one. But
wait, The Favorite, is that Florence Pugh? No. Is she in there?
Man, that's a nice truck.
Emma Stone is also in it. No, Rachel Weisz is in it.
Oh, Rachel. Okay, no. I'm thinking of a different movie. Okay. Sorry.
Honestly, everything he's done since The Lobster has kind of flown under the mainstream radar. I think this is probably the most press he's gotten for a movie since that one. Because Killing of a Sacred Deer is just uncomfortable and a little bit scary.
Well, Barry Keoghan is in it, right? That's who you said.
I'm pretty sure that's him. Yeah.
He's, that guy is...
And he's like a child.
He's very good at being able, fitting in uncomfortable...
He's a psychopath in it, essentially.
That lines up.
Tracks.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
But so Dogtooth is about these two siblings, brother and sister, who have this like incestuous relationship. And I think they're also like, their parents are fucking too, but like, and their parents won't let them leave.
Family. We're just
their parents won't let them leave the house. So it's a similar sort of story where like their whole world exists in the house and on this property, and they have this just sort of animalistic, fucked up existence. And so when The Lobster came out, I didn't actually realize that was the same director as Dogtooth, because I just didn't remember the name of the director at the time. And then who actually turned me on to him was Cooper from Westerner.
Oh, okay.
Cooper Bombadil.
Coop.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was like Yorgos Lanthamos.
He likes scary movies.
And I looked it up. He was in Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. Twin Peaks season 3.
Coop?
Yeah.
Was he really?
He's an extra, yeah.
He's one of the like thugs.
Wait, I did see him.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like
at first I saw
him or text the group whenever. Yeah.
I saw him and I was like, I'm drunk.
Like, no fucking way, dude.
So I just kept watching
Time to go
it.
to bed, apparently. Like,
because when that shit came out, I didn't have access to any psychedelics at the time. I recently moved to LA, so like I just bought and Ben was out of town, so I just had the house to myself. So I just bought. It's like the only time I've ever gotten just trashed by myself. I bought a bottle of whiskey, and I was just like, all right, I'm getting fucked up and watching all of Twin Peaks season 3, like 18 hours. Let's do it. And
it's a good fucking season.
So I was just like, I'm just drunk. That's not Cooper. And so then I watched it with Ben, and he was my singer, and he. And he was like, that's Cooper. No, that's fucking Cooper. I was like, no, you're just drunk.
Right.
And we texted him. It was like, oh, it's him.
That's so good.
Shit.
Good on you, Coop.
Yeah, it's pretty
Twin
awesome.
Peaks, dude. That's fucking
got that one for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
No, I didn't find this movie to be scary or uncomfortable at all.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a little Tim Burton-esque in that Tim Burton is all about, giving you stitched up weirdos and scissor hands.
But cute.
And pedophilic Willy Wonkas.
Cronenberg, all the shots of like the surgery and sort of like the emphasis on the body.
There's some Cronenberg vibes for sure. Yeah, no, dude. I mean, and those are we're just listing. Clearly, he has a lot of the same favorite directors as we do.
Yeah,
and I think that he's officially launched himself into the pantheon with this movie, where it's like, all right, dude, you got at least 3 killer movies, looking like 4. I have
really
to rewatch
well
Dogtooth, to be honest. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember when that movie came out. I think it came out in like 2009 or 2012. Like I was still in college when that came out. So it was like, I barely remember it, if that makes sense. But if you think about directors working now who are really crushing it, like him and Ari Aster are kind of the new wave, as far as I can tell, of surrealist weirdos, And I think that's great. Like, in many ways, this movie was what The Lighthouse wishes it was.
Oh, yeah.
With all the black and white shots reminded me a lot. Also you got Willem Dafoe, so that's
Definitely.
part of it. But The Lighthouse and I like The Lighthouse. It's my favorite Robert Eggers movie, but it didn't hold up on reevaluation because it's just like, yeah, I get it. They're gay.
Right. Well, you've seen it once. You understand.
The Lighthouse is a dick.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the really shocking and awesome little scenes of it are actually like very brief, and that's smart. The first time through it, all you need is like a flash of this weird squid shit or whatever, But this one, I think, will stand up to repeated viewings a lot better because it's thematically a lot more complicated, and it's actually it's real, even though it's not a realistic film. It's not a neorealist sort of film. It's realistic to the way human beings are, and that's what you have to be.
So it definitely seems like there's a lot of common themes with some of his other movies. Some of the examples you brought up, the like primitive aspect, you know what I mean? I think like that's definitely in there with like her journey of self-awareness, her sexual awakening, like the habits of the men in her life, whether it's
there's a theme,
the need to like control or possess or own whatever it may be.
There's a theme of like isolation in an examination of sexuality and love, right? Like The Lobster, I guess you haven't seen it, but it's very much about that, right? Like The Lobster, if you don't find love within like a certain deadline, you get turned into a lobster.
Right.
That's the plot.
Right.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So there's
now she wants to see The Lobster.
Well, I feel like many women do feel like that.
Well, but it's Colin Farrell who's afraid of turning into a lobster.
In Iran, if you are like over 30 and not married, they say like you've gone sour.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the phrase for that?
Torshide.
Torshide.
Yeah.
Next time I see a spinster, I'm just going to say that.
In China, they say like you're a leftover woman.
You're a leftover woman. How do you say it in Chinese?
I don't fucking know.
Doggy bag.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it seems like he's very good. And again, like, slacking on his other films here, but from what you're saying, it seems like he's very good at taking a very common theme, a very relatable theme, and talking about it, presenting it in a very eccentric or interesting way, very layered way.
But a way that's true to the intensity of whatever feeling you've certainly had within yourself.
Maybe like the human experience, whatever it might be. Like it's there's a lot of emotional depth throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And like, kind of pivoting off of that, the camera work in this one.
Yeah.
I love
Fucking
There's like zoom in and zoom out.
And
the wide angle stuff.
there were
Use
so
some really weird lenses.
there were so many scenes where I was like, the angle, the type of camera that they're using, like it really felt like it accentuated, it heightened, specifically with Bella, like whatever emotion she was feeling. Like whenever she first walks through Lisbon and she sees the couple fighting, and then she goes into the the alley in the dark, like she turns a corner and there's just, you hear a commotion in the background but you don't see what's going on. She comes back to face the camera. She looks kind of like frightened or taken aback. Just the angle, the lens, it just seemed so claustrophobic, and you sort of like felt her shock. You know what I mean? And she's also, this is at a point where she's still very naive. I guess she's had her sexual awakening, but in terms of her experience with the real world, she's incredibly naive. So like,
she's essentially mentally like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, she's off on her own, and I mean, it was very cool.
I liked the use of wide angle lenses in closed spaces. Like there's a lot of when you're inside, when you're in the ship, when you're in the house, when you're in the mansion, throughout, they would have this exceptionally wide angle lens. Like it has to at least be a 7mm lens, maybe, dude. Like I don't know, like maybe 9mm, but it's wide. It's not quite so wide that like it's a complete circle, but it's about as close as you get. And so whenever it moves, they have it on this clearly like a dolly or a Steadicam would be my guess. And so when it like shifts and just like tracks with the subject, everything just goes, and that was really cool. And then when they're outside, they used some sort of lens that gets a lot of what's called like bokeh, which is like when you see like those little like circles of light.
That's what I was wondering.
And then beyond that, they have the aperture just completely wide open so that it's a really shallow focus. So basically all you see is like the face, and everything behind them is blurry and kind of mystical looking, but at the same time it's like, yes, we're outside, but we're still trapped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're still in a claustrophobic environment.
Yep. It's a very tight atmosphere. So, dude, some of the camera angles and the lenses, even just like, I guess, like the coloring of the scene, like when she first has her sexual awakening and a couple of the scenes immediately after that. Like,
I was like, there's no way Lisbon looks like this. Like, this has to be green screen, right? Like,
it's so good. It's sort of like as a visual representation for like how ecstatic she is, right? Like the joy that she's discovered. You know what I mean? Like actually having that visually translated with. I mean, Emma Stone just fucking crushes it.
Yeah, she's great.
She did so good. As what, Bella Baxter?
yeah.
Bell whore.
Bell whore.
And what's
Bell
funny,
whore.
dude, she's like, she's really good casting, because she's hot, but she's not like, part of her appeal is that she's more of a girl next door, like, oh, I could get that sort of, you know, and that's what you need sometimes for a love interest in a movie, like say Superbad or.
I thought you were gonna say her childlike wonder, but that works too.
No, but point is though, but there's also something about her that's, and I mean no disrespect, but there's something about her that's like uniquely frog-like and just kind of weird looking.
That's a thing, you know that, right? People like categorize women like frogs and like.
What?
Yeah.
What? I've never.
Yeah, frog girls.
What side of the internet are you on?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
But no, but the point just being in that
I prefer salamander.
Yeah, I'm more into the amphibians. Yes, frogs.
There's like frog. There's deer. There's cat.
I mean, okay, I see.
These are
Some
like
women are cat-like. For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. I get.
But for her, it's like she just looks a little freaky. Like her eyes are a little too big. They've given her some bushy eyebrows
blue.
In this one. Like they intentionally
There's
bushed up her
imperfections,
eyebrows.
but they really like those imperfections with her do sort of add to like her attractiveness.
Exactly.
Like I mean, like okay, I'm just thinking of an example first. You know, classically very hot actress. Let's say Margot Robbie. Casting Margot Robbie in that role would be very fucking weird. Or insert some other big time actress that you think is stunning, right? Like it's
right. Emma Stone is still real. Like she's
she
still
is. And she's very pretty.
A girl.
She's very
she
attractive.
is.
Like so it's
But it's her personality. Like, she has charisma.
Yeah.
Right? And the big eyes plus charisma equals men want to fuck you. That's just a fact.
I mean, men want to fuck you regardless, but...
Well, especially then people are going to, like, you're turning heads if you have big eyes and charisma. And so, like, it's not like, my point is, again, not to insult her, but she's not Marilyn Monroe. She's not, like, busty and curvy, and she's not Cindy Crawford. She's not, like, this just, like, bombshell, just, like, leggy.
Stunning.
Right. She's looks kind of like an experiment in this movie.
Yeah,
and you couldn't have done it, like you said, with a more
like a
too perfect actress.
Yeah.
You need that, and she's leaning into it too. Like, she's aware.
Yeah, dude. She was.
It's gonna help her when
she looked like she had a lot of fun filming that.
Absolutely. Like, I was like, I bet she had a fucking.
Yeah, the way
blast.
she walks is hilarious.
Yeah, the way she walks is funny.
And then, like, just her journey of, basically when you first see her making syllables, like saying parts of words, but you're kind of able to deduce like what she's hinting at, but then forming full sentences and like all of a sudden having some very clever, witty responses, like.
And then just like full on intellectualizing philosophical musings about life.
Yeah. And she's reading Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny too on that point is that that when she goes off whoring about and with cads and actually whoring later and like traveling the world and going on her adventure, you have Willem Dafoe and Max, I forget the actor's name, is like Yusuf something.
Rami
Yusuf.
Yeah.
Yusuf Rami or Rami
Yusuf.
Yeah.
Who was good. He was really good.
He was.
He and Willem Dafoe basically find another dead pregnant woman who they can put a baby's brain in. Which is another hilarious comment on men, by the way.
Yeah,
right?
well,
like,
she's
can't
going
be alone. Can't be alone.
No, for sure.
Can't be with each other.
You.
Right? Like, we need something to do. So, like, that woman, I don't know the actress's name.
That was Margaret Qualley.
She was gorgeous. She's really good looking. And, like, interestingly, then Willem Dafoe's like, I don't like her as much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, and some of it, he's like, my mistake was being too nice to the first one. I have to...
He had an emotional attachment. He did form an emotional attachment.
He's closed up now.
Even though earlier in the movie he talks about
up.
how it is just like she's an experiment, right? And to keep the results of the experiment pure, this is how he must control her environment.
So he was, in a way, her father figure.
Right.
It's the Godwin Baxter, her calling him.
I love that his name's God.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat, from that, I was like, okay, this is cool. Immediately, your commentary has piqued my interest here.
Yeah, and it's like it's very rare you're going to see like a Frankenstein style movie that's interesting. Let's be honest.
100%,
right?
dude. Like, yeah.
No, she had a
Very
really
well
great
done.
arc. You were invested in her story. You wanted her to go out and live her freedom, and you also wanted to know like why she killed herself.
Oh yeah. And
I was glad they did that because I did not. I expected they get married, movie's over,
Right.
and then the first husband walks in,
giving you the resolution, man. That was fucking
and he's
killer.
just a nutcase who
He's a piece of shit.
who dictates through fear.
Very quickly you understand why she threw herself off of a bridge. Like,
but she still wanted to know. Like, she left
Right.
Max at the altar to go see like what was it, even though it made her kill herself.
Yep.
She had to know. She had to go see for herself.
The madame from the whorehouse points out, if you don't open yourself up to the like just the devastation and shittiness of
The world.
life,
Yeah.
basically you're not actually getting a real life.
that was such a great scene between those two, and that little monologue that she has. I don't know what that actress's name was, but I was like,
She was
that
French
is
of some kind. Yeah,
I was like, that is awesome.
she's definitely probably been in stuff that I should know, but
100%.
I got you.
I also
loved that.
I loved that.
That was Catherine Hunter.
Catherine Hunter. I have no idea who that is. But the use of surrealism in this movie in a way that didn't turn Jasmine off, and I don't mean just specifically. I mean someone like her.
Wasn't trying to
But,
shock
like,
me.
is it not interesting that like you hated Beau is Afraid?
Because it was
You-
trying.
hold on.
It was
Yeah.
trying
Hold on.
to evoke
Let me-
disgust
can I-
in me.
Like, did you find it masturbatory? sort of like it's just trying too hard to like.
I'm like none of this really pertains to the plot or the message that you're trying to say.
Okay, 100%.
Like, I understand
That's
that
not true,
life is
but-
disgusting and life is horrible.
No. Let me ask the question though, because it's not just that we know you hate Beau is Afraid, right? Like that.
I mean,
we're
I
well
was
aware.
uncomfortable. That's
But you hated Beau is Afraid, and you loved this movie, which shocked me because I was sure that you were gonna just this was
movie
weird
was not
and icky,
disgusting.
But it was. What about this movie made it not disgusting?
It was a comedy. It wasn't a horror.
Beau is Afraid's a comedy.
No,
it's hilarious.
Not.
Yes, it is.
I laughed maybe one time.
Okay, fine. I laughed many times though.
This
because it's
movie, I was
hilarious.
laughing the entire time because the script was so funny. The characters were funny. You were invested in them. You weren't confused the entire time.
But was it the childlike sort of fantastical, whimsical nature of it that set it apart? Because Beau is Afraid's going for like the uncomfortable
I think it
surrealism.
might be, man.
It was whimsical, but it also
But it's taking
had a
such
very,
shit that's just as dark.
It had a very clear it guided you through this story. It eased you in to what her story was. Like you started at the beginning and you figured it out along the way, and it didn't have to push you to it. It just was the dominoes all
there was
sort of
definitely
fell.
a point in the movie
you
where I'm
know?
like, okay, what the fuck is the point of this shit? Like, there was a point midway through
Really?
where I was teetering on either this is going to be really good or I'm going to be annoyed.
The only
You know?
part where I was
Fair
like,
enough.
what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck? I was trying to figure out.
How do they wrap this up? If they
Is there a point to this, or are you just trying to show me this weirdo's tits?
What
'cause
point
you're
in
a
the
weirdo?
movie was that for you? 'Cause I feel
That's
like-
around the time of, I'd say, Lisbon, where I was just like, okay, this is a big shift. That's interesting. And then
You were confused?
they're just. I wasn't confused. I was unsure of whether the movie was going to go in a direction I would like or not.
Like, are they going to be able to pull this off and give me resolution?
Are they gonna give me some
satisfaction?
substance to
or
this?
or is this going to just be like, oh, I've spent 2.5 hours
Right.
to get this?
Right. Well, and that was the thing with Killers of the Flower Moon, where the question is of oh man, how much of the stuff that is obviously unpleasant is intentional. And this one, they just make her not seemingly learn, or her learning is so slow for just long enough where you're like, all right, am I just going to watch a retarded person, as the movie would say? I didn't say it, the movie said.
Some would say.
Yeah.
We're not saying some would say.
But am I just going to watch this mongoloid Emma Stone character just get fucked? What?
Right,
I
right.
don't want to see just total degradation and weirdness for the sake of weirdness. So if you don't put a point in the middle of it, if there isn't a prize at the center of that kinder
Right.
bar, what is the fucking point? And luckily it delivered on that. You gave us the philosophical musings. It gave us an old lady who she befriends.
Yep. It was a very good representation.
It gave us down with
It's very symbolic.
evil,
yeah,
evil
exactly.
men. The fucking asshole turned into a goat.
Did you? Yeah. Well, that to me was actually my least favorite part of it.
The ending.
No, not the. I like the ending. I don't like that they turned him into a goat. I like that they made him an experiment. But really, you could have put Willem Dafoe's brain in there, or, I don't know. The goat to me just seemed a little bit I fully expected they were going to put Willem Dafoe's
That's
brain.
karma.
Yeah,
It is karma, but it seems like it's a thing to get the girls going. Yeah, take that.
Definitely had a girl power ending.
Right.
I did think that was pretty hilarious. But I think okay,
That actor could have been funnier. That was the one.
was he in Haunting in Venice?
I'm pretty.
Yeah.
He had to have been. Dude.
Okay,
I was
think so,
that guy
dude.
was for sure.
I'm pretty sure.
He just wasn't funny though.
No,
No,
I
he
mean,
was
and he's
just-
also
you
he's
hated
supposed
him.
to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's immediately just
But there are better, funnier assholes.
fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Okay,
I
so
thought she was funny in the face of him.
Yeah, I mean, sure. No, everything was funny because it's still good writing.
Yeah.
so the symbology of the lady who owns the whorehouse, right? It's when she comes into contact with Emma Stone's character, it's after Emma Stone has become pretty. She's becoming very well read, if you will. She's building more world experience, and
And that's what she's really after. She's no
It's-
longer really after more sexual experience.
right. It's
She just
she's,
loves sex.
But she still knows she needs sex.
Right. She's beyond it, and she's going to where they go to the socialist meeting. She's befriended the other prostitute. She's just given away all of old dude's winnings.
Yeah.
In Alexandria to the poor people they totally don't get it.
That broke my heart a little bit for Mark Ruffalo. It's like the only time you're like, dude, he just won big.
Yeah.
At the casino, and she just takes all his money, and she doesn't even get it to the poor.
No, she gives it
gets
to
conned.
it gets conned. So it's like she's doing all this, and she's going on this like an enlightening journey past the sexual awakening, and then the owner of the whorehouse, what she represented in telling her like, hey, the good, the bad, being happy, being sad, the ugly, Clint Eastwood, it's all a part of life. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like, I feel like it's sort of a retort to the path that she's like going down, which I feel like a lot of people do as they become more educated, more well-read, and it's sort of like, maybe it's a tendency to focus on everything that's wrong in the world.
Well, and the old lady hasn't been fucked in 20 years.
Yeah.
She's very openly admitting, because what's more important to her as she gets older is what's between her ears
Exactly.
and not what's between her legs.
She still uses her hand.
On occasion, yes.
It was, and that scene between the owner of the whorehouse and Emma Stone where she explains everything to her, and it's after she's shown her that she has a granddaughter that she's responsible of taking care of. Like, it was a good holding of a mirror, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
Of like, also sort of offering a different perspective to what Emma Stone is like sort of uncovering in her mind.
Also, subtly a way of getting through to like morons who are like, yeah, you go girl, be a sex worker.
Yeah.
Like that weird trend on the internet where it's like feminist to be a hooker. It's like no. There's a reason why society frowns on this, and it's because it's not fulfilling, and you have to be with weird freaks.
The spider guy, the crab man.
It's like again, it's like just well beyond that's like basics where
it's total depravity at that point.
Slay queen, boss girl, typical bullshit. Yeah. It's like, no, there's substance here, and it is this idea of like, oh, she's had her sexual awakening, and she's like taking control of her body and herself. But she is a little unfulfilled. She's a little empty. So now she's getting more information, combining that with more world experience, she's becoming more educated. She's not as naive. She's able to like competently think for herself and sort of act for herself. And it's all done in a clever, witty way. It's not just...
Yeah.
It's...
You've just made me like the goat part, because I like that there was a little bit of that you go girl carrot for the more basic bitches, not you.
No.
But
I just think that's karma. That's comeuppance.
Right, but you know that like every girl who got dragged to this movie by her boyfriend or on a date, right? And 100. Is going to look at it and go like, okay, I liked it versus like I didn't like it, because it's just a little extra like carrot at the end.
It's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
And he has the women on the dominant 7 chord. He moved it to the
And
wall.
those are the people you're trying to reach with this message that, hey, it turns out that empowerment actually has a lot to do with things well beyond sexuality.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot.
But sexuality is also part of it.
What? Yeah,
sexuality is part of adulthood, and it's fun, right? But her attention becomes much more directed towards reading philosophy books than towards Mark Ruffalo.
When she was gonna kiss,
which, by the way, why has there not been an adaptation yet of the children's book where it's like Ruffalo is the Gruffalo?
I don't know.
I think
we got $1 billion movie.
It did a really, really good job of like telling a story about a woman. Like, she was the main character of this film.
Well,
and she was complex, and she has like a learning curve. You know, you see her grow, you see her become a woman from a child, basically. But she still is her. Like, at the very end, when she was gonna marry Max, she like kissed him, and she was like, "This'll do." You know, that was still like an important.
She tells him next time less tongue or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, less tongue, but we can work with
every
this.
guy's gotten that one before.
Yeah, for sure. Too hard in the paint on that one.
Yeah, you went a little too heavy.
Her pleasure is still like an important thing for her.
So what would you rate it? And would you say that this is a movie that was like very relatable or just generally relatable?
I related to it, but that's because I feel like a retard often.
Well, aside from that,
I feel very in touch with my inner child. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But also, like, I don't know. I don't know if all women can relate to feeling trapped. I feel like because of my culture, I feel like there are certain norms that I've had to live by and rebel against.
Well, you're in a band called SHEDONIST, and you have a lot of songs that are all about sex. So like,
yeah, very much so.
It's not a secret that like you've tried to break that chain.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm all about women's lib. Let's go.
So what would you rate it?
5 stars.
5 stars, full on 5.
5 stars. That was
Nice.
probably the best movie that I've seen in a really long time.
All right.
One of my favorite
It
movies.
was.
Very much not my prediction going in on how
Well,
she
maybe
did.
you don't really know me.
Well,
then,
you know,
Josh.
I heard you chuckling and laughing throughout the movie. And I was like, damn,
laughing
okay.
the whole time.
Because I mean, I found myself multiple times. Like, I think there were also maybe like 2 other people in the theater with the 3 of us. Like, I found myself multiple times just like kind of cracking up. Like, man, that's fucking good. Whether it is like the punchline of the scene or even just something very little about the scene. Maybe it's like one of
she lifts
the
his
duck
dick up,
dog.
the dead
The
cadaver
cadaver
dick.
Dead dick.
And that's because I have a fucked up sense of humor. But
I mean, that was hilarious.
But-
yeah, I mean,
But also,
yeah, that's
every
good.
woman, anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows that every woman has a kind of funny fascination. They're like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Can I watch you pee?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
can I hold him?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
So like that was real. Again, like that's
Yeah,
real shit.
It was very relatable for me
Yo, it's dude. It's,
because I'm an experiment.
I feel like if you're in a
apparently.
relationship and whether it's like you've got out of the shower, you're naked in the bathroom as a dude, and your partner is in the bathroom or walks by, you're getting a dick touch or a dick grab. Like it's at least it's happened.
If you're lucky.
Every dude, I hope so. I think maybe that's
Yeah.
a sign of a healthy relationship. But it's like there must be a fascination with just the appendage just
Well,
hanging
obviously,
there.
like we don't have that.
Yeah,
so
you know,
like,
it's
like
the
what
same
fuck
as why
is
men
this?
love boobs. They're like,
Tits are
boobs,
awesome, dude.
I could touch these all day.
They're blobs of fat on you. Just they're awesome though.
Yeah, they're really
This movie,
cool.
this movie had a good amount of boobs.
It did.
It had a lot of boobs.
bush, dick. Hey, it's got something
It's
for the
got
whole
something
It's
for
got all
family.
of
everybody.
It's got some big old boys, some thick boys showing some ass during the
You
dog
know,
scene.
I don't
If
know
you're into that.
why I was so surprised at exactly how graphic it was because
was a lot.
I've seen a Yorgos Lanthamos movie before.
It was.
So like I know what to.
It
I
wasn't
should
just
have known.
she lost her virginity. It was like it kept going. She kept getting fucked.
No, they're
and
on
now
that
she's also
train
a
for
whore.
minute. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's still
And you get
getting
all
fucked.
these like old ugly men naked.
By random
one
dudes.
dude, the one dude who's just like squat.
He's being a crab.
The crab dude. That's his
Hanging
name.
his balls.
That's the character's name.
Yeah, dude. His balls are just hanging there. It's like, it's kind of hilarious. You're like,
Yeah, it was super funny.
Again, just
Crabman. Laurent Borel.
crab man.
Well,
His name
everyone
is
knows
Crab
what his
Man.
balls look like.
Everyone in his hometown said he'd never make it.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's the Crabman.
Crab man.
That's the crab man. I saw his balls on TV.
Right up there next to
So-
hand job guy credit.
We got a 5-star. What are you giving?
Okay,
it?
well, I'm gonna make this 2 out of 3 right now. I'm going 5 stars as well. I thought about saying this at the beginning, but I was like, maybe I'll save this for the end. Honestly, so we had a discussion about this, if this counts as a 2023 movie, 2024 movie. It came out
For Oscar purposes, it does count as a 2023, so we can
came
toss
out
it in there.
the States.
It is
December
credited
8th.
as 23.
Yeah.
It came out, I guess, in the UK and Europe January 12th this year. But I'm going with it as 2023 for sure. Honestly, right now, I think that is my favorite movie of 2023. It's basically, I'll give you my top 4 from 2023, right? Just not in any particular order, but what I'd be picking
Dune.
between. No. That's 2024,
I know.
baby. We're almost there too. 1 month out. Let's go. I'd go. Okay, so you've got Poor Things, Beau is Afraid, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then The Holdovers.
Yeah, Holdovers.
Now, The Holdovers, like it's a seasonal movie. That is a holiday movie. So like,
But it was just good.
but it was very fucking
Yeah.
good.
You don't have to watch that on Christmas.
You don't.
You know, that would be good any time of the year.
And also, I love that everybody that I've talked to that's seen that movie, they're just like, we loved it.
Other than Ben.
Other than
A
Ben,
lot.
which I
I've
don't-
seen
I
it
don't-
on a lot of
I think
people's
Ben was
top-
just, honestly, I
top
think Ben was
lists.
just, I think he was over at our house. I think at that point he was just like belligerently drunk. I think he was
We
just
gotta
like
get him on one
a
of
few
these.
He
glasses.
hates everything with him.
Yeah, so I think, Ben did not enjoy it. But those
But
would be
it's
my
great.
top 4
Oh,
from
it's
last
so
year.
good.
It's awesome. Can't recommend it enough. But I do think Poor Things coming out of 2023 is number 1 of my favorite movies from last year. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm like, I want to get and watch it now. I was like, because you'll fucking love this.
Take her
too.
to the theater.
Yeah,
Support movie theaters.
She's not the biggest fan of the surreal shit, but that
Right, it's a way that it's
not
weird,
surreal in an
Lynchian shit
uncomfortable way.
that won't scare girls away.
It's funny. And
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah.
like there's a
It's like the Queens of the Stone Age to like the metal genre, where it's like most metal scares away most normal non-metalhead girls. But like Queens of the Stone Age, for some reason, you'll just meet these like chicks in like Lululemon at the gym, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just listening to Queens of the Stone Age."
there's an air of lightness about it, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe that's him trying to like also preserve the idea of like a childlike state of just like happiness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it resonates on a lot of levels, and I think as long as people aren't offended by seeing tits, dicks, and bush on screen.
And the occasional
and
blood and
brains.
guts, yeah.
And the surgery scenes again, very Cronenberg, like his last crimes of the 21st century. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, I still need to see that, dude.
It's really good. But so those are like, you know, quote unquote, like shocking, if you will, or grotesque. But I didn't
Graphic.
find them off-putting. I actually
Yeah.
like. I mean, that's just like, oh, that's kind of gnarly for sure because you're seeing someone's brain.
Like my
get cut.
mom
But,
wouldn't like
was,
it, but
but it was still. It's like it's not shocking. It's not over the top. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like everything just sort of fits where it should. So I'm going 5 stars. I don't think there's anything they could have done better with it. Like the third
Yeah.
act, you get the resolution, even beyond the like brain of a goat into D-bag
Yeah.
husband. Well beyond that, man. Just like
She's reading a book.
there's a family unit.
yes, the way he wraps it up, man. Like it's
There's a daughter who's just like her, essentially.
All
Yeah.
her
Right?
captors are
She's
dead or
supplanted her
mutilated.
father's role
Yep.
as the surgeon.
yep.
But
She's
she has a
free.
partner. Like, yeah, it's honestly, it's a pretty good thematic
It's a
She's
fulfilling
cocktail.
studying to be
Yeah.
a doctor.
5 stars. Go see Poor Things, man. It's fucking dope.
The only things that I really,
sorry.
the only things I were really confused about were like how much time has passed and like what
It's not clear how long they were in
time
Lisbon.
are we in? What time period? Because there's like flying cars, but there's no phones.
I like that. It's steampunk Victorian era.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
cool.
But also, I think that's only you'll notice during the sexual awakening and the trip. So I think they're just kind of portraying the way she's seeing things more than the way
Exactly.
they are.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what Alexandria is so horrible. Right.
yeah.
Which that shot was fucking sick, dude. Those people in the pit and the staircase that's crumbling.
Yeah.
that's- so you can never actually get
Down
from-
to help them.
Dude,
Yeah.
That whole thing, I was just like, yo, that's like just sick as fuck. Just the
He's
way it's set up.
He's
dude.
very good at like expressionist style imagery / surrealist, but like expressionism kind of predated it, right? Where you've just got this just like stark Munchian or
It was
God
very
damn it.
Dali to me.
yeah, but who is the guy who? Oh my God, Gustav Klimt taught him. Egon Schiele. It's very like
Okay.
Egon Schiele, sort of like just like, oh, there's something just like the way you frame this so helps communicate the disturbed nature of it.
Yeah.
I would probably
you think on-
I'd probably
on
give it
5
5 stars.
Yeah.
Either 4.5 or 5. It's hard for me to always like choose between the two. It's very rare that I'm just like, because you know, who knows? You could watch. I would have given Lighthouse probably 4.5, 5 stars the first time I saw it. Now I'd give it like a 3.
Right.
You know, so I don't want to be like too beholden to it.
You don't need too much a creature of the moment, but that is what we're basing the
But
podcast on.
Exactly, that's true. That's true. Well,
you know,
so my
that's
initial
lot.
reaction is a 5-star reaction. I could
Right.
see it slipping down to 4.5, but I could not see it slipping to less.
What? Yeah.
You know?
I think that's
It's for me in terms
Very
of
reasonable.
movies from 2023. I like Beau is Afraid more. I think it's frankly it's just a little bit more of a ride. This movie, what's nice about it, there's something almost like pastoral about it, where it just kind of like slips by, as does life, c'est la vie, right? But it's not really, and it's episodic in a
Yeah.
similar way to Beau is Afraid, but in Beau is Afraid, the episodes are just like insane.
They don't make any damn sense.
No, they make. If you listen to the podcast, they totally make
They
sense.
do make sense.
And they
I
make
was
sense.
there.
Hated that
I was
movie.
in the
And
podcast.
it's still,
Go listen to it again, dude. I'm telling you,
I
we
have
figured
to
it out.
rewatch
Maybe
it, but
we
I
should-
don't want to. You
Maybe
know?
we should do a rewatching of Beau is
That'd
Afraid.
be funny.
And do an update, like a 15-minute segment to see if opinions have
That'd
changed
be
on
really
Beau is
funny.
Afraid.
I would
We
love to
could.
do that.
We could.
Next time we have you on.
I will suffer though.
Well, next time we have you on is going to be Lord of the Rings. But so, basically, I do think Beau's Afraid, just in terms of like, dude, the way that it ended with like just it's the exact opposite style ending where you're just like, no, you're fucked. Like there's no positivity. Like I get how in that sense it's more of an emotional drain, but it like had my heart rate up the whole time. And I really am a sucker for movies that just so enrapture you that your body is affected by it, you know? Like you're like, oh, cortisol, right? Like
I hate that.
I love it because it's like that's how you learn to deal with that feeling, right? Like that's how you learn to deal with being anxious. So if Beau's Afraid is about the completely neutered position of the contemporaneous man in the year 2023, 2024, right? Then it's absolutely terrifying and again neutering. It's like he's got these enormous balls that have never came, right? But he's essentially acting like he's castrated.
Yeah.
Right. So like his power.
I mean, he's like an emasculated man.
Yeah. His mother is beating him into submission, and so like it's like you have power, but you're not using it. And every single situation, part of the anxiety is like, dude, you could get yourself out of this if you had like an ounce of confidence. Right?
If you just put those huge balls
to use,
man, the solution is right there.
And like, so if you're trying to make a movie that's getting through to men, in a sense, like these are almost like flip sides of each other, because like Poor Things is absolutely kind of more about women and women's role.
Yep.
In the empowered era. It's not as specific technologically maybe, but and Beau is a phrase about men. Well, like, let's be real, women are doing a little better than men right now, right? Like they own more houses, they get more college degrees. Men are, according to every news channel, in crisis. So like it would make sense that the movie about men has to be a little bit more like shake you awake.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly more fitting for the times, 100%.
And for the subject matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think
goes to show too that you can have two movies speaking to both of those points and really thought out, well layered manners. You know what I mean? Like even if these points are on the opposite, it's like, dude, it's still like both of them doing a very like convincing way, not in a basic way, not in a just like lowest common denominator sort of.
Not worrying about if people get it, because if you as the artist get it,
but it made you get it, you know.
Well, yeah, it's well. They're both well constructed.
Both shows the mastery that both filmmakers have, you know, and the ability of like.
I've been waiting,
actually bringing their idea to life.
I've been waiting so long for like new directors to really be excited about, you know, because like obviously Aronofsky is like my favorite working today because Lynch is retired essentially, and you know you've got old guys, but like he's still in his prime, right? And then I was really stoked on Joe Wright, but he's just kind of like the only things he can really get made are like period dramas apparently, even though when he does other stuff it's really cool. So okay, like you're just not gonna see anything crazy from him every time. I've been waiting for that director like every time I'm gonna be excited. And I feel like after seeing Ari Aster, ironically I'd never seen any of his movies, you'd never seen any of Yorgos Lanthamos. Ari Aster and Yorgos Lanthamos are kind of like the two guys now where I'm like, these guys both have a chance to take the mantle.
Very, very talented individuals, man, both of them.
It was really a well-constructed movie, and it's probably Yorgos Lanthamos' best movie, by the way.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
I would go like this, then Killing of a Sacred Deer, then The Lobster, then Dogtooth, and I've never seen the other two. But, like...
What are your thoughts about the title?
Poor Things?
Yeah. What does it mean?
I think it's all, like, human beings, like, poor things.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Like, are you supposed to have sympathy for them, or...
Well, think about how the phrase poor things is used, right? Like, sometimes it's totally callous and casual. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm acknowledging the existential horror of life or your specific existence, right? Whoever you're talking about. But you're not actually being empathetic to it. And she even talks about how she's losing her empathy.
Yep.
So I thought it was a good title.
I'm confused by it, 'cause
and it also doesn't give away too much.
I'm confused because
that's
sort of
how I took it as well.
she
Like
doesn't
Beau's
really-
Afraid could have had a better title. Like Beau's Afraid is a funny title. Don't get me wrong, it works, but you could have done something better.
Poor Things is very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she just lives her life. And
Yeah, but
like,
she killed herself. She's an experiment who's been locked up inside a house her entire life as far as she can remember. So like starting out, she is absolutely like a trodden upon
poor thing.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Little tongue in
she's
cheek,
rich
you know.
in all of these scenarios in her past life and her current life.
Well, and isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and there's kind of that comment that like, it's same when she's like people's obsession with money really is a hindrance to their personal development or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Well, when you're rich, you have time
You can
to
have
think about
that
like
attitude.
how do I really feel?
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're starving, you're like, I feel hungry. That's how
Yeah.
it's like. I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. I am hungry and I'm gonna rob somebody because
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
no other choice. You know, so I don't know. I thought that. Yeah, title was. Does it still confuse you? Did we illuminate you?
I mean, I guess I get it. I don't know if it fits with my understanding of the film.
Well, that aside, we still got 3 5-stars,
Yeah.
which is pretty rare.
That's extremely rare.
Yeah.
No, very little disagreement. We just kind of sucked the movie's dick for 40. Well, it's been about 50 minutes.
I guess we did, but it's a really good movie. We've got some big things. Big things coming.
That's true.
No, actually,
Lord of the big things.
Lord of the Big Things.
Oh God.
And
We got Dune
then
2, obviously.
we've got.
And then before that, we're forcing Will, who has never seen Lord of the Rings, and neither has Jasmine, so she's a part of it. And we're gonna bring back the Maroney twins.
First time
They got a movie to promote, so
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be some quality episodes, I think. Obviously, I have high hopes for Dune.
and we got to do Argyle too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Argyle. We gotta get Ben on a podcast. That'll be
Should.
fun.
funny.
Yeah.
You should do a
Anyway.
movie that he hates.
Yeah, just a movie we know he would like, like the Barbie movie or something, you know.
That'd be funny.
Anyway,
right.
thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on Rumble for exclusive bonus
Go watch
segments.
Poor Things. It's awesome.
Go to
Yeah.
a theater, watch
Yep.
Poor Things while you still can. It probably only has a couple weeks left, so hurry.
Yep.
Adios.
Hell yeah.